Nobody cares about you, and that is completely okay. It's actually great. It's amazing. Because if you can shift out of this headspace where you care about what you think other people are thinking about you, if you can shift out of that, you can actually turn that little superpower you have, because not everyone does that. Not everyone is even capable of thinking about what other people are thinking about them. If you are that type of person who can do that, you can actually shift this people-pleasing tendency that you have into becoming an extremely socially skilled person, into becoming a social master who's able to bring the best out of other people and also express themselves in the situation. It sounds crazy, and you might think that this amount of overthinking you do about what other people are thinking about you is such a burden. It makes you just not a social person, and you might not feel like you have hope in this area. But let me give you that hope, because I was in that exact same situation. I was in deep. When I was in high school, I was very overweight. I was 265 pounds, obese, and that weight caused me to have all of these thoughts about thinking that everyone around me was watching me, that everyone around me thought I was ugly, thought I was fat, and that they didn't want to be around me. You know, like I was having these thoughts constantly. And so I'd be in these situations where I was talking to girls, and I'd just be literally coming from this place where I was like, she thinks I'm ugly, she thinks I'm fat, she doesn't want to be around me. And so I'd be just like coming from that super insecure place. I'd be stuttering. I was feeling like I was judged, and so I just wasn't myself. And so I'd either be stuttering, or I'd be on this other side of the fence where I was being super fake. I was trying to emulate what I thought they wanted me to be like in order for them to like me. And so from that fake place, they also just like the interaction wasn't going well, because I was almost acting. And I'm a bad actor, I'm not gonna lie. And other situations this would come up. I remember being in class senior year. So I was 17, 18 years old at this time. And still, I felt too insecure to get up and go blow my nose, to go grab a tissue out of a tissue box and blow my nose. Because I was just, in my head, I was just overthinking what everyone in the room was thinking about me. And they weren't actually thinking about me. I was just making this up in my head. I was just imagining that everyone was just watching me get up to put this thing. And like for some reason, I like viewed that as weak. I was like, if I blow my nose, that means I'm weak because I'm sick. Like it was just such weird things going through my head, like especially looking back. But at that time, I thought that was valid. I thought that was true. The way that I was living, I thought that was completely true. And so the way that you shift out of this is doing one specific thing that is going to be a bit hard. You know, it's honestly going to be pretty hard, but you need to do this. And it is experimenting through exposure therapy. What you need to do is you need to start getting into as many social conversations and situations as possible, and honestly start analyzing them. Don't just go and do whatever you've been doing and just repping it out with 100 people. Because if you keep doing the same thing you've been doing, you're going to get the exact same results. And so in order to get out of this headspace where you're thinking about what other people are thinking about you, you have to experiment doing something else. And so you have to experiment being your more authentic self. And this is easier said than done. So let me give you another tip that will help heavily with this. So first, you're going to be trying to meet new people. You're going to be trying to push yourself into new social situations. But the different angle you're going to take here is coming from a place of your weirdness, of your uniqueness, of the things you think people will judge you for. You have to almost just like push the boundary a bit. Say that joke you think that will make you look weird. Say that thing that people will be like, yo, this guy's a whack. Say that thing, and maybe they will just like laugh at you and be like, yo, that's pretty weird, man. But in a backwards way, those things that you say that are weird actually make you a more charismatic person. People love authenticity more than anything else. Even if it's weird, even if it's odd, say it anyways. Be that guy who just like goes that extra mile and says that thing. Now, after you start to do this, you might get some mixed reactions. For some people, they might actually just start succeeding with this and everyone will like love them. You'll start to get more people around you. You'll have great social interactions. For other people though, they'll be like this and they'll actually be weird. It's tough, but they'll actually come off pretty weird because their actual genuine thoughts are pretty weird objectively. And so what you need to do from here is be okay with training yourself to become a more sociable person. And so you actually have to start analyzing these different social interactions a little bit. I know it sounds a little bit autistic, but like it's not, you know, I don't think it is. Like you should go through this process because it will lead to you getting more fulfilling, better relationships. You need to start looking at your social interactions and being like, what is coming across as weird here? Like, am I just like saying some really inappropriate things? Like, are you saying racist things? Are you saying things that are insulting people personally? Like, because the difference between an insult and being a playful tease is just your delivery of it. But in order to know what that is your delivery, that's the problem, you have to like look back at your interactions. And so this sounds like really complicated, but I promise if you just start doing this like a few times, you just start thinking about why'd that interaction go kind of bad? And like, what could I have done better? And then the next time you talk to that person, the next time you see someone else, you implement whatever that experiment is, you'll actually get really quick feedback. And once you start getting in the zone of doing this back and forth process, very, very soon, like a lot sooner than you think, you will start to advance really quickly and become a lot funnier, a lot more charismatic, and a ton of people will start to gravitate more towards you. And you'll actually accelerate way past your current friend group level in terms of social skills, in terms of being just like a funny type of person. You'll be able to accelerate past them as you experiment, because most people they don't do this. They don't experiment. A lot of people, they're just talented at this. Like those popular kids you had in high school and college, they were usually just talented. They, you know, growing up, they had some really good parents and they were very social there. And so they have those skills built up. But for you, you can actually learn to experiment, and over time, you can actually surpass those types of people. I know like some people get mad at me for being like, how are you comparing social skills between people? That's whack. Like, why are you making this sound like a competition? But to be honest, like these skills are very tangible. Like if you are better at just entertaining someone and being just like a better person to talk to, that's pretty tangible compared to someone else who isn't doing that. And that comparison might seem toxic, but it's actually just a way of measuring how good you are at something, which allows you to get even better at that thing, which we all want better social relationships. So if you want to stop thinking about what other people are thinking about you, you have to experiment out, you have to start being your weird self, like putting that out there, and then you have to start experimenting with that weird self and slowly almost like molding it that it works for a lot of people around you. And so you don't want to go so far that you're fake, that you're trying to emulate an alpha male, you're trying to emulate some popular person you know. It still needs to all be coming from you, your weird self, but you just need to start almost taking different types of experimental jabs. Like say this thing, don't say that thing. Say this type of thing, don't say that thing. And over time, you can maintain your authenticity and be able to become that charismatic social leader that you want to be, that you know that you can be. Because I know you can be that. I was such a weird kid. I was odd in a lot of the ways that I was talking to people and the way I was carrying myself. But I worked on that. I worked on that for years, and now I'm reaping the fruits of that labor. I've been reaping the fruits for the last couple years, and it is so worth it. Start experimenting while being your authentic self, and you will reap the fruits as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you got any value from this, go down, hit the like, comment, and subscribe button, and watch this next video.